Okay.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Hey, Renetta.
Hi, Tanya.
Hey, ladies.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Happy Friday. I guess in the one regard,
In one regard, happy Friday. And in the second regard, what the heck just happened on Roe versus Wade today, huh?
That's
heck
right.
Just happened?
Exactly. So yeah, happy on one, and on the other, it's a sad day. Just can't believe, and maybe I can. What happened to women today. It is all I will say on that at this time. But we'll definitely schedule a show and invite guests on to talk about what this means for women and what this means for us um, as a community, um, as a society. Talk more about that. So, Flo, what's been going on with you?
Oh, back in the swing of things, Mad Flo is in the house, and what I have been watching and keeping track of is the January 6th hearing. It's scary. It's real scary, very scary. So I've watched that, and I can't believe that what our former president has basically done on January 6th, and still doesn't take blame for it, responsibility for it. It's awesome.
Right.
It's crazy out there. It's a crazy world we're living in right now. Crazy world. But this is Mad Flo in the house. And Mad Flo's not crazy. Now, I'm not crazy, but I am mad about educating you guys on how to understand and make your money work hard for you. So that's what we do here. We educate, we teach, we keep you informed. So stay with this Facebook group, and whoever's out there, stay with us. And we got a great show for you tonight. And Renetta, looked like we kind of surprised you when it came on earlier. You was like, like you were surprised.
No, I was about to say something, and that's all. So no, not surprised about being on. I was about to say something, and I was like, "Oops, I may not need that to come on live feed."
Yeah,
right?
I heard the oops. I said, okay,
yeah, so I had to oops. But this show today, you're absolutely right. This show, as you guys know, in May, we talked about women's health, and this month for our men, we have a show. We would not ever neglect our men. So today we want to discuss men's health. We have great guests for our show on today to talk about men's health, to talk about services for men. And we have men on the show today as well. We have we have some dentists who are going to talk with us about oral health, and also sit in our hot seat as we ask questions about men's health. So, Tanya, let's invite them. If you guys are ready, invite them into our audience. And to our guest, thank you so much in advance for coming on. To our audience, remember, share, share, share. This is going to be an exciting show today.
Well, today we have Dr. McKinney, and Dr. McKinney will be joining us to talk a little bit about our men. I guess we're going to talk about our men. What are we going to talk about, Dr. McKinney?
Well, hi, ladies. Thank you for having me on the show. I really appreciate it. Glad to be here. We will definitely be talking about men in general, but we're going to narrow it down to our men. We will.
Yes.
Well, awesome. Because, I am fortunate enough to have a wonderful man in my life, my husband of 26 years, but we've been together about 30. And I'm going to tell you, he hates going to the doctor.
Oh.
And
don't they all?
Yeah.
The only way in the last 10 years that I was even able to make him go is that I told him that our insurance company will pay us an additional $100 or $500, whatever it was that particular year, if we did our preventives.
Mm-hmm.
And he went. But have I been able to get him to go back since? Absolutely not. Okay, so if it's hurting, he might go to the chiropractor, but you get it to a doctor, to another type of doctor, I should say, because I respect the chiropractors, they are doctors.
Absolutely.
But to get him to go to that doctor's office to get any blood work or anything, shoot,
It's a fight.
Not happening. Not happening.
Yes.
Okay. So that's why it's important to me. He needs to, I hope he's going to be listening today. He's definitely going to be on the recording.
So we'll bring our male guest on as well. I know they hear us in the background talking about them, but we're doing it because we care about our men. We care about what's happening in their lives. So we absolutely care about you. Hi, Dr. Stewart. I care about you. So Dr. McKinney, we're going to start with you. We know that you are here today representing the J.C. Lewis Primary Health Care System, their center. And if I've said it incorrectly, please, as you begin to speak, please correct us and go ahead.
Yeah. So yes, I am a family nurse practitioner, doctor of nursing practice, and the clinical director at J.C. Lewis Primary Healthcare Center. And so I definitely have a lot of experience with men not coming to the doctor. I've even had patients, some of my patients, the wives will come for their appointment and trick their husbands into coming and say, well, can you treat him too? Can you see him as well? And I'm like, well, he does need an appointment. But I think that from my experience, I think men feel as if they feel well, all is well. And sometimes that's not always the case. And actually, June is Men's Health Month.
Yes.
We just passed Men's Health Week, where we did celebrate Men's Health Week. So this is like a perfect opportunity and a perfect month to discuss men's health. And just a couple of interesting facts that I kind of came across that I really wanted to share to kind of shed some light on men's health is that in 2020, the CDC found that 13.2% of men aged 18 and over, which is fairly young, was in fair or poor health. And granted, that may sound like 13% is not a lot, but 13% of that overall population, that's a lot of men who are in fair or poor health. And kind of break it down a little further, 14.1% of men and older, they smoke cigarettes, while about 51.9% of men have hypertension, which is high blood pressure. Alcohol use, that's something that we don't talk about often, but that leads to a lot of health risk, whether it's strokes and heart attacks and heart issues, heart problems. It can lead to risky behaviors. Like there's so many risk factors to the day-to-day lifestyle that women and especially men they do, and I don't know if the severity of those lifestyles is usually highlighted as this is a health risk. If you don't do anything else, at least going to your primary care doctor, establishing some kind of primary care at least once a year. The preference is more if you need to, but at least a physical or annual once a year. I joke with my patients a lot because they say, every time I go to the doctor, you find something. Every time you find something, I don't want to go because you're always finding something. And it's not necessarily us trying to find something. It's more of let's figure out what kind of health condition you are in so that if we can prevent something, we can prevent it. And then if you're doing preventative measures, whether it's going to the doctor once a year, twice a year, quarterly, doing those preventative measures, those colonoscopy, those prostate screenings, then a lot of stuff that our men are dying from could be prevented. And we can give them the education. We can start treatment earlier than later. I tell my patients that blood pressure is a silent killer. Sometimes you may not have any symptoms at all. And so it's important that you just get an overall health and wellness visit to kind of identify those risk factors and start treating or start evaluating those ahead of time. I was just the leading cause of death in all men, this is all men, and I'll break down to our men, is heart disease. And second cause is cancer. They don't really differentiate what kind of cancer, it's just cancer as a whole. And in 2020, the third cause was COVID-19, but outside of the COVID, it was chronic respiratory, strokes, and diabetes. So those are just some overall with all ages, all nationalities, all origin. However, when we look at the non-Hispanic Black men, the leading cause was still heart disease at 24.1%, cancer. And interestingly, I didn't realize this, it was Alzheimer's. So I was like, that's different. That's different. I didn't expect that. And aside from the non-melanoma skin cancer, prostate is the most common cancer among African American men. And so those are just some, I just had to throw out some statistics. These are from the CDC or the National Vital Statistics to give you kind of the insight of what our men are dying from, whether it's all men in our African American community. So,
Dr. Stewart, I know that you are promoting a health fair. Is it there's a health initiative that you are also promoting that's coming up soon. Can you tell us a little bit about that as well, as we're talking about men's health and what we can do and what men can do to prevent some of these and to catch some things early?
Thanks for the opportunity. And it's interesting listening to Dr. McKinney because having collaborated with her, many of the points she touched on as leading causes of death for Black men are the focus of this event. It's going to be at the St. Paul CME Community Center across from St. Paul Church on Barnard on July 9th from 10 to 2. So feel free, even though it's a men's health initiative, women are always welcome. I can't say that's true the other way around, but hey, y'all are welcome. Yeah, we're going to focus on some of these leading killers like, diabetes, heart disease, COVID, HIV. Those are the major things that we're going to be looking at. And it's free, open to the public. We're going to do some screening and some education. So we think it's important.
Dr. Mark, can you tell us what that date is again? July
9th.
July 9th. And how long is that? What's the times?
10 to 2. 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
All right.
Thank you, Dr. Stewart. And of course, we want you to continue to be a part of this conversation. Dr. Smith, join in at any time to talk, to share your opinions as a male. But I also want to recognize who just entered the studio, and we're so happy to have you. This is Dr. Rena Douse, who is the CEO of J.C. Lewis Primary Healthcare. So please feel free to join this conversation. We're so excited that you're also able to join us today.
Thank you. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes. I know Dr. McKinney is speaking on behalf of J.C. Lewis today, so I just wanted to join in. Just in case you all had any questions in regards to J.C. Lewis that she may not be able to answer. I'm here on the call as well, but she's well prepared to answer the questions for J.C. Lewis. So it's good to put a face with several names. So I'm glad that you all invited us to be a part of your show today.
Thank you. Thank you. So, Dr. Smith, we're also talking about oral health and how that can also affect our overall health. And as a dentist, can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, ma'am.
Of course.
Yes, ma'am. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes, and thank you
Thank
for the
you.
opportunity. Um, it's I'm glad you mentioned that. I'm glad we're having this platform. And as I listened to the stats that Dr. McKinney had stated, it's alarming, but we see that as health professionals every day. Whereas 80% of all appointments are made by females, whether it's for them personally or for their significant male others. Um, in terms of oral health, I mean, everything starts in the mouth. You got to eat.
Yes.
And we're in the South, right?
And I love to eat.
You have to eat. Everything starts in the mouth. But even with that being said, there are even signs, whereas if you're diabetic, things like periodontitis and diabetic that coincide with each other. So once we start this movement and looking at things in a holistic, in other words, we treat the body as a whole. We need to look at this body as a whole, one whole unit. Everything fits together, whether it's the mouth, and even as we talk about diabetes, high blood pressure, and COPD. Because, for instance, when we have gum disease, periodontitis, every time we inhale, we're inhaling that bacteria, which affects the heart. COPD. You see how this is it all fits together. So it's very important. Back to your question, is very important. It starts somewhere.
Dr. Stewart, would you like to add anything regarding oral health and how it affects, not only men, but of course, all of us?
I think it was interesting that Dr. Smith said 80% of all appointments are made by women. That I hadn't even thought about it, but you know who calls, so look at it from that angle. The oral cavity is the beginning of the digestive system. We've all heard the phrase "garbage in, garbage out." If you think about what a normal healthy diet looks like, a certain amount of vegetables, fiber, raw foods. Now you imagine Mediterranean diet, blue zone diet. These diets contain high levels of grains and fibers and vegetables. So you think about that and you say, hey, I think I'm going to try one of these. And then you remember you don't have any teeth. So you're not going to sit here and you're not going to sit here and dip carrots with me. It's not going to happen. So what happens is these people then go to these very soft diets that are very high in carbohydrates. If you already have underlying conditions like Dr. Smith mentioned, diabetes, a lot of people lose their teeth because they're diabetic. Now you can't maintain your glucose because you had mashed potatoes and donuts for lunch. It's a mad cycle, and so the level of disregard and that people have for their mouth is mind blowing. I used to have a sign on my wall that said "Just pull it." That's what most things. It seems like the thing I hear more than anything.
So, Dr. Mark, I sell Medicare insurance, and so all of our seniors would love to get a plan that has dental in it. And what ends up happening is that the utilization of the dental portion of the plan is low. Now, the insurance agents place people in this plan so that they can get oral health care, but then they're not using it. They're not using it at all. And it's probably too late, but for some, but they don't take it seriously. And so I hear you when you say that it's very serious to take care of your mouth. But most people wait until their mouths are hurting before they do anything about it. And I'm going to go back to Dr. McKinney. Dr. McKinney, what in the world can we do as women to get our husbands, our spouses, our significant others to get into the doctor? our fathers, just as hard to get them to just get preventive.
Mhm. I do think that it takes, like I say, it takes a village. It takes the women, and it takes just education. It takes us to be able to inform them, hey, these are potential consequences, or hey, a physical is not going to hurt. A physical is not detrimental. We, like, again, like I was saying earlier, we are not here to find something. We're here to make sure we prevent. And that's kind of the focus we're trying to switch to. We are doing preventative measures, so that we can make sure that they're alive to protect their wives, their kids, their families. They're strong enough and they're healthy enough that they can provide the services that they want to as men. I tell a lot of my men that it's just kind of a responsibility that you have to kind of pick up, and you have to take responsibility of your own health. And be serious about it. And that's why I kind of started with some statistics, because a lot of times, like I said, men, they feel as if, hey, if I feel okay, then I'm okay. And again, that is not always the case. And unfortunately, our African American men have a lower life expectancy than our Hispanic or non-Hispanic white counterparts. And so that's showing that we do have some work to do. We do have some preventative measures to do. If it's going for a blood sugar check, oral health, if it's going for a blood pressure check, just doing something to kind of promote and educate and encourage our men. Hey, it's okay. It's necessary, it's needed, and it's something to prevent you from before we find something and it's too late. And that's what we are here for, so we can find it, so that we can prevent it, and we can do whatever we need to promote optimum health.
And continuing that conversation, sorry, Dr. Smith, we were about to add something.
Yes, as I listen to this, and as I listen to Dr. McKinney, I find it interesting because some of the things that the comments that you're bombarded with, like the statements from your patients, I don't feel anything. That's what we are. Me and Dr. Stewart, that's what we hear on a daily basis, and we have to give this each day in and day out. Whereas a couple of facts we need to face. If it gets to the point where you feel it, it's too late.
Yes.
You have to be preventative. That's a fact. Now, as I listen to you more, my question is, I think that we need to change our language a bit as we speak to our male counterparts, and we just need to change our language as we talk to them. For instance, when they say they don't hurt, this is my statement. Are you going to ride around on a slick tire, or are you going to wait till it pop and then get it fixed?
Mm-hmm. So the language that men can relate to is what I'm getting.
Yes, and then when it comes to your checkups, my usual question is, when the last time you changed the oil in your car? Usually the typical guy is going to know that off. They're going to know it. And then my next question is, so which is more important, your mouth or the car?
Your health or the car?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So then when we talk about prices, then we always know that there's a financing, right? So when we talk about finances, my next question is, I understand that initially this is expensive. I agree with you totally. I would not disagree how expensive this is. But this is one thing I guarantee. When we talk about health, this is one thing that you get your money back within a month. The why you will get it back within a month is because this is the only thing you will invest in where you use it 24/7. You use it even when you sleep. So let's put some items to this. Let's say, for instance, if you go buy a used car at $5,000 and you kept it for 5 years, you would say you got your money's worth.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely.
But you don't use a car 7 days a week, 24/7. Even the busiest person is going to use a car 5 days a week, right?
Right.
Mhm.
So we need to change our language as we talk to our male counterparts. I would challenge the females to do that moving forward. That's what I would say.
We accept that. We can accept that challenge. We need to know sometimes how to speak to our men. So this is very enlightening on how to speak to our men, because we want our men to be healthy. That's a priority. And, and understanding how to relay that information and how to get you all to attend these appointments.
Yeah.
And so,
something real quick.
So this is what I also tell. This is what I also say when I'm talking to people about these miscleanings. You're missing these cleanings. I need to say a prayer for the person you've been kissing.
There's something.
That is good.
Hey, Mad Flow, let me say something real quick. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
I want to thank everyone for being on this call this morning, because this is exceptionally good information that everyone needs. But I also, when I talk to my husband or any man out there that's listening, I know you don't want to hit your pockets. You don't want to lose money. And what I bring to the attention to my husband is this. I said, baby, if you use your, if you go in for preventive medicine, the insurance company will pay for it. You don't have to pay for that. And it kind of clicked on him. He'll have less to come out of his pocket if he goes to, the doctor for his annual, because with my insurance, I don't have to pay for my annual checkup. Mm-hmm. So that's money I don't have to pay for. And now he gets that and he understands that. And, now he does his annual checkup every year. And then it's the same thing with, our dental. I'm one of the fortunate ones. I'm in my 60s. I'm going to say what number, but I have all of my teeth, all 32, including my wisdom teeth. And when I was 19, someone said something about hurting. I think it was Tanya. You said you wait until you hurt. And man, when I was 19, my mouth was hurting. And I had not been to the dentist since I was probably a child. I went to that dentist and found I had something called TJ. What is it? When the jaws just... TMJ. But what it was so much buildup of, what do you call it, other stuff? It was
what is that stuff, Dr. Stewart, Dr. Smith?
It was buildup of your teeth just build up.
Don't make me lie.
Whatever it is. But anyway, they did a good cleaning. That's what I needed. I needed a good cleaning. So they cleaned and they removed all of that stuff off of my teeth. And I was 19 years old then. I've been going every 6 months since, twice a year, every since.
Mad Flow, you brought up a good point. I was thinking about a conversation I had with a colleague, a male colleague, who was reluctant to get a cleaning. And I said, you have dental insurance? And he said, yes. And I said, wow, you're making insurance companies richer and richer.
Richer.
You're just giving them money.
I don't pay for my cleanings.
Exactly. The cleaning is free.
Yeah, preventive, because the insurance companies, they would prefer to pay for the preventive than to have you just not go and you get sick. And then what? They're constantly paying out of pocket to the point they're going to deny your claim.
Right. And again, I was saying the Medicare Advantage plans that they have, the utilization of them actually using the dental that they beg for, very low. It's less than 1% of all of the people that we get the plan for use it. So it's like, I should take it off, but if we take it off, then they won't buy the plan. But I wanted to ask Dr. McKinney and Dr. Dowse about the J.C. Lewis Clinic. Now, I know that it's there, but I don't exactly know what preventive can I come to that facility to do. I go to Dr. Brown for my eyes. So I do come in the building, but that's it. Nothing else. I'm not sure what else happens. I don't know what kind of doctors are in there. So can you relay that information to our community? Because if I don't know, they probably don't either.
Absolutely. So J.C. Lewis, I say that we are like a patient-centered medical home because we have so many services inside of our building alone, whereas a lot of patients don't even need to go out for a lot of things. But this is a good segue, because when we're talking about finances, J.C. Lewis is a federally qualified healthcare center. So we are here and placed in the community so that we can provide those services and high quality service to the patients with insurance, without insurance. We have a homeless population that we serve, and we have a sliding scale. So those patients who may not have insurance and may feel like, I don't want to go to the doctor because I don't want this huge bill. That's what we're here for. We're here to help. We're here to assist. And I can guarantee you will get high quality health care here. So we do have a primary care. We have primary care that is a big service that we offer. We have a lab here, so we don't have to send our patients out to get labs. They get labs right here, right where we are. We have specialty services to include optometry. Thank you for using Dr. Brown and coming here. We have optometry. We have cardiology. We have OBGYN. So if you have a pregnant woman and they need services and they just don't know where to go, please send them to us. We'll be happy to have them. We have, in addition to cardiology, we have cardiology services here. We offer behavioral health, and that is a big health concept that I think more people are being engaged in and more people are talking about. But we have very competent psychiatric practitioners. We have very competent LPCs, which is licensed practice counselors, who are able to provide those counseling services and all behavioral health services that you may need. So we are like a one-stop shop, and we have dental as well. We have dental. So those patients, I know Dr. Smith, you do dental as well, but we do have a very, very great dental here on staff at our main site. Our main site is located at 5 Mall Way. It is right next to the Oglethorpe Mall Library, kind of in the same area with the Oglethorpe Food Court. So please come by and see us. We will be very happy to have you.
Just to piggyback on what Dr. McKinney has already said, something that is very new for us at J.C. Lewis is we just partnered with the VA clinic. This is hot off the press. Within 3-week time frame, we now can see 100% disabled veterans in our dental clinic, and the VA will pay for that. We're still working on the medical portion, but now if you're a 100% disabled veteran, you can be seen at the J.C. Lewis Clinic. You have to live within a 50-mile radius, but I think the need came about when the VA was overloaded, or some of the veterans have to travel to Charleston to get services.
Right.
Now you can get those services right here at J.C. Lewis. So that's a great partnership, and we are looking to extend that partnership with the medical services as well. One other thing I wanted to piggyback on is that I think when we talk about men, it's a community-wide effort. When we're out at these health fairs, when we're having dinner, it takes all of us to, not just when they come to the point of care or the point of service, when we're at family events, family reunions, it's important for women to, when we talk with our family members, to stress the importance of seeking care, seeking preventative services as well. And one more other thing, if you have supplemental insurance like Aflac, Colonial Life, they will pay you when you go in to get those dental cleanings.
Preventive.
Yes, they pay you whether it's $50 or $75. So if that man wants $50 more in his pocket, or his wife or a significant other, and they have supplemental insurance, utilize that supplemental insurance, because I see with the supplemental insurance, a lot of us pay for these insurances, these additional insurance plans, and like Dr. Smith said, I mean, they're getting rich off of us, and we need to get those reimbursements. But we do provide dental services now with the veterans, in addition to what Dr. McKinney said, that are 100% disabled.
And I have one more thing. So I forgot to mention, we have a full running pharmacy. And so not only can we send our patients to our own pharmacy, and that's something new that we started this year. We have a full formulary, same day refills. It's open when the clinic is open. And then we also have off-site locations for patients who may not be able to get to our clinic. We provide services around the community as well. So it's a lot. I encourage you all to check out our website, jclewishealth.org. We have every single COVID vaccine that's out there and EUA approved, including the ones that's 6 months and older that just got approved. We have those on site. And we have pediatrics. I cannot forget our pediatric location. We are just finishing up our renovation. It is a beautiful, a gorgeous site. So we even offer pediatric services as well. So check us out, jclewishealth.org. It's a lot we have to offer to the community.
Thank you. Thank you. Our listening audience, please send us questions. We have the professionals on who can answer your questions. So send in questions. We're asking questions for you, but please send in your questions and we'll be sure to pop your question onto the screen.
So you gave a different address. I was always thinking that you were downtown. Did you say Mall Boulevard?
Yes. We are at 5 Mall Annex. We're in the Oglethorpe Mall parking lot now. If you are familiar with Savannah, next across from the food court, right next to the Chatham County Library. Yeah. It used to be Tompkins Sporting Good or Russell's at one point in time. So that's our main location now. We're no longer on Farm Street. We still have different outstations throughout the community, but our main site is now located in the Oglethorpe Mall parking lot at 5 Mall Annex, Savannah, Georgia, 31406.
Awesome.
Wonderful. So, you talked about that there is a sliding fee scale. So those who are seeking that financial assistance, do they just come in? Do they call prior to and have a conversation before coming in? Do they need to schedule appointments? How would our audience get additional information and find out if they qualify for any type of sliding fee service?
Sure. So in regards to the sliding fee scale, they can certainly call 912-495-8887 and speak with a staff member. You can also go to our website at www.jclewishealth.org. Under frequently asked questions, there's a question in regards to payments and sliding fee scale. It lists the documents that you would need to bring for your appointment in order to qualify for that scale. So you can find that information on there as well.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much. Any questions, Matt Flo?
Yeah, mine's a silly question, but I knew you guys were prepared for all questions. I have seen young children as young as 5 or 6 years of age or 7 years of age have braces. And I'm just curious as to why would a dentist put a 6-year-old, 7-year-old, and we have what you call baby teeth, right? And all those teeth are going to be replaced at about what age? 12. All of those teeth replaces itself, right? So I know it's a silly question, but I just see I've seen it in my lifetime. Where I've seen
no question is silly. Come on.
Okay.
Go ahead, Dr. Stewart. I'll let you get that one.
Well, you're an observant person, but there are,
I agree.
dental conditions that are developmental.
Okay.
It may be bone structure. There's things like a tongue thrust. Most people never think about it, but when you swallow, your tongue goes backwards. And a tongue thrust is just the opposite. You may have seen people do this. They go like this.
Mm-hmm.
When they swallow, tongue, and the strength of that tongue over time, you're going to push those teeth in the same direction as that tongue. And so we have, oral habit appliances, thumb sucking appliances. We have all kinds of things. So there's interceptive orthodontics, there's adult orthodontics, there's juvenile orthodontics. So there's, at every stage of life, there's conditions that can be met and fixed. But I want to say one more thing because I have to get off. On behalf of patients everywhere, healthcare is very female centric. Let's not, let's admit the obvious. It's a space created for and comfortable for women. And when I say creative, if we look at healthcare, real birth providers delivered babies. From day one, somebody had to deliver babies. Going back to the beginning of time, that was healthcare. I don't know that there was in ancient Egypt there was a podiatrist, but I'm sure there was somebody delivering babies. And so that environment was formed and shaped, a long time before now. And I'll give you an example. And I talked to other people about that. I've talked to Renetta about this, about what we consider home field advantage. Most of the women on this call, if you go in Pep Boys or, some auto mechanic or a dealership, you get the sense of uneasiness, like you're about to get played and pimped. You like,
Yeah.
You just feel vulnerable in that space. Sometimes you think,
We just lost. I think we just lost Dr. Stewart.
But he was right.
We do have that sense of uneasiness.
Yeah.
Yeah. But in following Dr. Stewart, I would say that, and vice versa, being that in the healthcare, it's like women centered as it was going. A man may feel a sense of uneasiness there, out of place there, as opposed to as he would in a different setting, if you will. But again, here's back on.
His mic is off. Your mic is off, Dr. Stewart. Okay.
Yeah, Renetta keeps kicking me off on purpose. Anyway, so here's what I was saying. I said for fun sometimes, like on February 13th, I'll sit outside Victoria's Secret and just watch the men go in there and laugh at them. So it's like they don't know what to do. They're so lost and out of place. It's just, And so I noticed that about my patients too, my male patients. I noticed a lot of them. First of all, dentistry scares the bejesus out of a lot of people. So now here you are, you're in this operatory with 3 or 4 young women, generally speaking. Your ego is in shatters and tatters right now, I've seen tears from places you didn't think people could cry. It's just so what I'm saying, as a provider, we have to work on that. And the last piece I'll throw at you, Ms. Pilcher, you were talking about insurance. Insurance.
That's okay. We'll fix it. We'll fix it.
So yes, I was going to talk about insurance, but now she's gone too. Okay, so one of the other things is dental insurance doesn't seem like it works at the dentist's office. I know you, as a dentist, you don't have the answers to that, but your office staff might. But we come in with our $2,000, $3,000 worth of coverage, expecting that that's going to be enough, but we still end up paying out so much. And that is the fear of most people when they come to the dentist, is that they're going to spend more than $3,000 to $5,000 sitting in that chair. and they don't know how to make those plans work where they're not having to spend out. And so most people would love to go to the JC Lewis Clinic, even though they have insurance. Is that a possibility?
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. We accept several.
Dr. Smith, that was a huge sigh, Dr. Smith. So we're gonna have you comment right after this question. But that sigh, we will allow that part to be addressed. So JC Lewis, doctors, please respond to Tanya's question, but then I think we need a rebuttal from Dr. Smith.
That was a loaded. Woo, that was a packed question. That was a packed question.
I know, but I didn't get
Without
JC
the
Lewis.
tears.
Wait.
Ma'am.
Let's get JC Lewis first. Dr.
Yes.
McKinney, Dr. Dowse.
Yes.
Can a person with insurance come to the clinic?
And the answer is yes. We do accept several insurances. We have a list of insurances that we do accept. So to answer that question and to hand it over to Dr. Smith very quickly, the answer is yes to that question.
Okay.
So Dr. Smith, we'll allow your rebuttal and then we'll have final questions.
Wow. Okay. So let's go back to this loaded question. So the question is, why is it that dental insurance just basically doesn't seem enough? That's right, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Yes.
Several reasons. First of all, I and me and some of my other colleagues feel like it has been overlooked so long that a lot of thought has not been initially put into it. Was never placed into it. It was always looked at as an afterthought. And if you take it a step further, when it's sold to the customers, it's sold as an afterthought. They talk about the health insurance and they say, "Oh, and you can pick up mental too." First of all. Another thing is typically the patient that has a high premium is one that doesn't follow up with the regular cleanings.
Mm-hmm.
They don't do the preventive maintenance, so that's why they have the big bill on the back end. Typically, not all the time, mind you, but typically, okay. And that's another thing. And then another thing is, let's face it. Let's think about how this world is going with change. As technology goes, we need to update our practice. We update our practice with technology, and not only with technology, inflation as we go each day, inflation. So those are two rising costs that are incurred with that. So it's a couple of factors with that in answering your question, Ms. Pilcher.
Yeah.
I think, and Tanya, of course, comment, but what we're talking about today, and it seems to be the common thread in all of this, is preventive care.
Mm-hmm.
The preventive care in all areas of healthcare. That way, people aren't afraid of going to the dentist, because if you're getting your routine care, then you may not incur the expenses. The same thing about seeing our primary care physicians, doing those things, getting our diet, all of those things in order, so that we don't encounter the big, the large bills on the back end.
Right.
I'd like to again commend Dr. McKinney and Dr. Dowse with the community-centered healthcare. And the reason why is because you really you walk it like you're talking with, making the community the village, and we support each other. It's action. We don't have to say it. You show it through your work, through your daily work. I just hope that moving forward, that being that there's a lot of socioeconomic issues in which there's a why there's a bridge, a long distance, along a big divide between men, specifically African American men in healthcare, from past trauma, if you will. I hope that in that community approach, we just work on deflating that fear. We put our arms of support around these Black men specifically, and so they could really let down that mask, the Superman ego, if you will, because at the end of the day, in speaking our language, you have to know the score. Preventive maintenance, preventive medicine, preventive visits help you know the score. If you don't know the score, how do you know if you're winning? How do you know how you're feeling? When someone says, "How are you doing?" "I'm okay." Are you saying that out of habit, or are you saying that because you really went, did your checkup, you are okay?
Absolutely.
You have to know the score.
Absolutely. Know your numbers. We have a couple of questions. There was one from B. Cole and I think that's for J.C. Lewis. Do you all cover disabled dependent dental? So I guess that must be a veteran. I'm sure that's probably a veteran question.
And the answer to that question is yes. Definitely if they fall within a veteran or the insurance of that 100% disabled veteran covers that dependent, then the answer to that question would be yes.
Okay. Is this our final question, Tanya? I can't. Can you
Yes,
see it?
because is there a community outreach to adolescent men who don't often see the doctors? And that is so true. I got a 25-year-old. I think I just told him recently that you need to make an appointment to a doctor because he has not been to one since he was a kid, going to a pediatrician.
And I would have to agree with you, Ms. Tanya. I have a 25-year-old as well that has dental insurance until he reaches the age of 26. And I'm like, call and schedule your dental cleanings.
Yeah.
Go to the dentist, go to the doctor, and just educating them and hearing it from their moms is not enough. But hearing it from their peers, and I think Dr. Smith made a good analogy about who are you kissing? Maybe I'll use that analogy tonight when I speak with my 25-year-old to get him to go to the dentist to get his cleanings done. But there is that group out there that will not go to not only their primary care provider once they reach a certain age, or not so much of adolescents, but young men, or go to the dentist. And I have boys or young men that will not go, but they listen to their peers. So Dr. Smith, just what would you suggest to get that age group, that 18 to 25-year-old group, in to see the dentist? The kissing thing might work because they like girls.
I've had several encounters with that age group, and I know that usually I would say that I would stress the importance of dental health, really. And then I would say, it's not about, I know a lot of times you think about right now what's in your face, but let's think fast forward as you get older, and your two enjoyments in life will be traveling and spending time with your family eating. That's when you will regret losing these teeth.
Yeah.
That's when you regret it. Another thing, what I usually tell the younger females, is you don't want to compromise your teeth, because Okay, you don't want to compromise your team. So, and then they would just look at me and nod their head, and then I would say, think about this. Let's paint a picture. Let's paint this picture. I think this is a good one to close you guys out on. Let's paint this picture. You go to pick up your child from school. You have missing teeth. When you pick up the child, you say hello, you speak hey, and you ask for your child. And then as your child comes forward, another classmate leans over to another and say, wow, her mouth looks like that jack-o'-lantern I saw in the mall last week. And then before your child leaves, the classmate look at you and say, goodbye, trick or treat.
We're gonna close out on that.
Yes. No.
That is so true.
Yes, we want to close out, but I do want to also acknowledge that the J.C. Lewis Health Clinic also has a fundraiser coming up October 8th at the Hyatt Regency.
Yes, our gala, our annual gala. So please visit our website. They have multiple avenues that you can donate. We would love to see the community out to support what we do for the community. I think the services that we offer are important and they're necessary. And it's the support of the community that helps us continue to provide these quality services. And that I was sitting here thinking about how sometimes men or just in general are uncomfortable going to the doctor. Our staff is diverse. Our staff, a lot of our culture, we can relate to our patients. So when you're thinking about a provider and you're thinking about an office to go to, consider J.C. Lewis, as we know how to communicate and we know how to interact and we know how to comfort our kind in our community. So support J.C. Lewis in that manner.
Well,
And
thank
just
you so much. Go ahead.
one more last thing, just to piggyback on the gala, because that's very important. For the last 2 years, we have not had an opportunity to have our annual fundraiser due to COVID. And so this year we're attempting to have that fundraiser because we utilize those funds to offset the cost of individuals who cannot afford services such as dental services, primary care services, and those funds really help. So definitely support. As Dr. McKinney stated, the information is on our website, jclewishealth.org. And we have not had an opportunity again to have that in the past 2 years. So we're really looking forward to that.
All right. Well, thank you so much. We gotta go. I'm Tanya Scott Pilcher. Live every moment like it's your last.
Renata Milner Gardner saying, as always, make it a great day. I want to say thank you to Dr. Stewart, who got kicked out, Dr. Smith, Dr. McKinney, Dr. Dowse for coming on. This has been an awesome show. Flo, close us out.
Hey, it was awesome. I mean, totally awesome show today. Thank you guys for coming on, because you know what? I hope our men out there realize that they have to get healthy in order to be happier. So this is Mad Flo closing out. I'm not crazy, but I am mad about helping you learn how to make your money work hard for you. Thank you for joining us today. And y'all join us again. ATR, All Things Relevant. We'll be back here next Friday at the same time, same place. See you then. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
like this. I like this.